G'day, today we're going to be playing at Mini Motorways and the weekly challenge set in Los Angeles. I do always love a good Los Angeles map. Let's have some fun. Start with eat one of everything. Only one choice of upgrade is offered. Double the number of bridges awarded. Now, I mean, this gives me memories back to a level where I ended up with a lot of bridges in this level. A level that you don't need many bridges in at all. So let's see how we go. So while we are just in this early part, just waiting for anything to happen, let me tell you about what's happened to me recently. So one thing I do, I don't know how many of my people listening are Australian, so this might be new to you. Every year in Australia there is a thing for Triple J, which is a public broadcasting radio station, which they do the hottest 100. So what they do is you can vote for any 10 songs that you want from the year, and it's just popular vote, and then at the end of the year, in January, they will play the top 100 as voted by the public. You can't ever get mad about it because it's a popularity vote. Of course, something popular is going to win popularity votes. But a lot of it is a lot of niche Australian music, or sort of like indie Australian music, up and comers, or just generally Australian music. But then occasionally some American artists will get through and sort of make the list. But what I do is when I was younger, I used to listen to Triple J all the time. So when it came to the voting, easy. Like I knew I had a whole year of listening to the songs. I can tell you what it was. But as I sort of changed, that's a really awkward positioning there. I guess what we'll do is we'll spin these two guys up, like that, and then have this guy go down and use one of the surely many bridges I'm going to end up with. But as I sort of moved to, because I used to sort of travel around for work driving, so I had a lot of time listening to the radio. But when I moved into working in an office, I didn't get a chance to listen to the radio anywhere near as much. So what I did is I went from listening to it all the time to not listening to it at all. So when it came to the end of the year and the list, like the short list that they came out with of here's the songs you can choose from, what I would do is I would just add every single one of those songs. So you're generally looking at about 1,000 to 1,200 sort of songs that they'd put up there, and I would put every single one of them into a Spotify playlist, and then I would listen to all of them straight through over a series of weeks. And it was great because it meant that I just was suddenly getting introduced to 1,200 songs that I hadn't heard before. And it was, if I like it, it stays in the list. If I don't like it, I cull it. I go from 1,200 to about 250 songs in the second round. I listen to those 250 again, cull down to 100, go through those, cull down, until eventually I have a top 10 songs. And that's the way that I've done it for a few years. Anyway, so this year I did that, and the standout artist straight away was Olivia Rodrigo. Like, I realized I had heard Driver's License maybe once or twice before, but I got to listen to like several songs from that album, and not only did Driver's License make my top 10, but so did Happier, which I thought was great. But what I hadn't ever done is I hadn't listened to her whole album because I don't know, what I'd listened to so far was such a mental drain, that like it did feel like, all right, well, let's psych ourselves up to get to the next one, to the whole thing. And so eventually this week, 4 months, look at that, I'm actually out of bridges. 4 months later, I finally gone, all right, you know what, I think I can finally go for some more Olivia Rodrigo. And I listened to, there we go. I listened to the full album through, and holy cow, is one step forward, three steps back. A fantastic song. Yeah, that's what I've come here to say. Is that I only just discovered that song this week. If you haven't listened to it, if you haven't listened to that Olivia Rodrigo's album Sour, definitely do that. And I guess for those curious, what was my number one song of 2021 from my system? And it was Better Off by Slumberjack. Was the song that through that culling system just came out number one. Anyway, that's my story for the week. Alright, so this one is always going to be tricky, where we don't have sort of final say over, yes, just give us as many motorways as possible. The layout that we've got here is very funky. The setup here is going to permanently make it tricky to get anything to this guy. Like, it would be great if I could have these guys just sort of swing straight down to get into the two of these, but because of his position, that would mean they'd have to run across his front. We definitely don't want to do that. So this one feels like we're going to end up with a really weird setup, and I'm not eager to use that motorway either. This guy only having 2 houses is bad, but I feel like there's so much space in there that he's surely got to get another house, surely. I mean, at least that's an easy fix. We can get that guy straight on there. There's another red house that can join him. Might get him to go into the roundabout. He's too far away that he'd be considered an intersection. Now, this one is always going to be hard to see where, like, manage your expectations for the leaderboard, because it's possible that there's someone out there that has just nailed a great run of motorways and traffic lights and things. Alright, well, this guy here, he can turn around. Big old population of red guys there now. It does make me feel like we've got to get someone closer to him. Whether that means that we give this guy a motorway just so that he... No, even then we can't turn these guys around because he would still have his motorway just sitting on that square there. What I need, I suppose, is sort of these guys to create a little bit more of a community that I can connect to him. So got so many reds up here that possibly what we could do is try and shift this roundabout further this way, or to there even. Actually, yeah, let's do that. So we can probably build this without needing to get rid of what we've already got going on. So we can connect that there, have this guy connect there, and then we put a little outlet there. Drop that, send him to there. Then these two guys around, get rid of that. There we go. Get rid of all of that. And these guys we can have run there. We'll send this guy there. And it means that have these guys. Okay. Here come the excess of bridges. These two guys join in here to help out. It also means that these guys can actually come across into here. They don't need to though, because that's all just for this one guy. I realize it's not for him as well. This guy is sitting on permanently on 3 or 4, but you can see these guys haven't left, which means that they're not. This guy isn't making more demands than the amount of houses available. We are still sort of managing him. Swing this guy around here. So that's now left him with only 3. Hang I guess we'll get these two guys to take that one on. That's a nice placement here. One more guy here, and I'd get rid of this connection and move that over there. Funny that we're still only... Oh, finally got a third house for this. So it's funny that we've only got 2 guys for how long this has been around. So I want to put a roundabout in here. I'll just let those guys join it in their own most direct route. Now he's going to start to have issues, I would say. There's definitely not enough cars currently covering him, so we'll give him the 3, but we can hope that this goes dark blue here. Certainly make life a little bit easier. Alright, so we'll just use another bridge to get over there. Probably just swing him in there. It'd be quite good to have that as a roundabout, but we'll just go as a set of lights. So what we might do is we can just probably do that. This guy's still not looking overly convincing, and this is going to get busier and busier. A lot not to like about what's going on there. Okay. But on the front of things to like, we can now get rid of that. No, do one better there. We can just swing that to there. That means that we do get that roundabout that we don't need anymore. And we actually have so many houses down here that we can probably disconnect those 2 guys and send them north because this guy's struggling. Green hub down here. Luckily that I trashed them before, but now I'm getting plenty of use out of these bridges that they gave me. They're doing a lot. This guy's looking a lot better since he got these 2. A lot of yellow at the top here. Let's just run this all the way down here just as a backup. Alright, so we're now going to need to spin him around. And we'll pull this guy up here. Get the help from them. Should be able to sneak this guy through there. What we don't want though is we don't want this guy wandering over to help out with that one. Alright, so he's okay now. We've got heaps of green. Yes. So if this guy's more than covered, these 2 aren't really, but so what we can do is probably just go like that. It means that it's going to be too awkward to get rid of, I think, so we'll just sort of build it like that. This guy can have the 4 focus on him. We can have these guys just sort of almost in preparation in case he needs the extra help. Amazed at how well this guy's still doing. One thing about the way that the LA map builds is that it doesn't squash houses together. They're very spread out. And it means that I think you get a reduction in possibly the amount of destinations you're dealing with, because there's just such a scattering of houses blocking out possible locations. Alright, so what we want is 2 more houses in this vicinity, and then we can cut this guy off from that guy. I can probably still build that there, and we'll just use a traffic light, because these are all the backups to this. You can see these 3 are basically doing a great job taking care of him. This guy's struggling though. Probably just his time to surge. Every single one of the dark blue houses is has everyone out at the moment. I mean, this is the only guy that's not attached to help out there. But it looks like that was just a surge that they're starting to come back from. This guy's now our surge. Alright. Where are we going to get guys to connect you? What we can do is temporarily, let's run those 3 houses over there. Alright. Well, luckily we've got a whole bunch of road tiles and some still extra bridges, so I apologize, bridges, for ever doubting you. What we can do is we can twist these 3 guys around and just run them. Careful with my drawing here, because I'll lose the whole thing if I make a mistake. I get those 3 guys to help out there. We definitely need more motorways though. I mean, certainly mission critical at this point. Because I can connect him there, I might actually swing this guy around, join him in there, get this guy to follow him up. At least this guy's getting some more help, even though it's this one that needs it. He's still doing a freakishly good job. And the problem is I don't even have an emergency motorway at this point, because he's about to need it. Okay. So we can't cut across a bridge. And to cut anywhere through here, they would have to be going over the top of... Okay, alright, I think we've got this. So if we go... move this guy to there, then what we do is we create a little connection there. Then switch those red guys that way. And we can just run up over here. These 3 guys can come the back up just as we get a motorway. It does mean that there's going to be now more traffic rolling through this, which isn't good. But because they are just backups, hopefully they're not regularly being utilized. Now, the good news is that these guys here are actually probably two red houses away that I could cut this off. This guy's doing surprisingly bad. I mean, again, it's just that these ones are surging. Alright, one more red. Really badly designed sort of neighborhood, I suppose. I mean, well, he's not happy at the moment with what he's got. It's a great ad there. Alright, let's think about what we can do with red at the moment. So this is probably the only red that's actually sort of on top of things. Got the option that I can flip these two guys around if he needed it, but it's definitely not the problem one. The problem is this is currently gridlock for some reason. Just the yellow cars passing through. Alright, so let's cut yellow out of this. And what we'll do is we will just give them a that motorway. Hopefully it's not too late. Oh, okay. It's a funny little ad there. I would say that with this, we're going to take these two guys. They're going to have to join in there. This is bad gridlock. Okay. What we want to do is just try and see if there's anything we can do to fix this. Not surprisingly. Got a problem, we want to fix it. So the only two red houses that we have that currently aren't doing anything are these two guys up here. But we would need a free motorway to get them going. All of the yellow houses here are in use for this. I do think that possibly what the problem is just the congestion. So maybe what we need to do is just reduce the congestion by getting rid of all of that. I mean, it's still going to be a problem for a moment here. But it does mean that all of these houses here are actually now just for this one guy. So we're going to turn him around. We'll see if the messiness of this can clean itself up fast enough to... Oh, it's this guy. Why has he got no one? Is it just... Funny that this one guy is swinging over to help out. Ah, that's a pain. Now that red layout was always pretty poor. Let's see how we did in the grand scheme of things. Top 10%, so definitely a ton higher than me there. 450, that's okay. Alright, there we go. Any questions or comments, feel free to chuck them below. But until next time, catch you later. See ya.